So here we are, and with my friend Peter Hardy, we've got a map. We've got just 3 days to discover the real Portugal. It's spring, and we're focusing our attention on the Alentejo, an unspoilt area in southern Portugal, located in between Lisbon to the north and the Algarve to the south. But unlike the Algarve, the Alentejo is little known as a tourist destination, and we're hoping to discover here a hidden gem that's off the beaten track. Our trip starts in Évora, a medieval walled city in the heart of the Alentejo. The old town centre is beautifully preserved with its original Roman temple and cathedral. Little wonder that it's a listed World Heritage Site. And the narrow streets are perfect to explore and shop for all things made from cork. So with just 3 days to discover the Alentejo, we're going to need some help trying to decide where to go and what to see. Time to meet local guide Olga Miguel.
Well, Alentejo is in fact the biggest region in Portugal. It's 1/3 of our territory, and we only have 5% of the population. So you have a lot of nature to enjoy. And there's many special things about it. Depends on what you want.
Well, we've got just 3 days. What should we do?
You should not miss the culture, the history, and then you should definitely check the countryside. This is the perfect time of the year. You're here in springtime, where you have all the wildflowers open, and the biggest man-made lake in Europe, the size of Sussex. And you should go to the beach. You have miles of pristine white sand beaches with almost no one around. Even people from the Algarve, they come to have holidays in this region. We have everything here. We have great food, great wine, culture, nature, and it's a place far away from the main touristic areas. So you'll get a taste of real Portugal here. And if you have the time, you definitely want to see the megalithic monuments. Stone Circle, even older than Stonehenge.
Day 2, and we're up early.
Well, here we are at 6:35 in the morning. The sun's just come up, and we're on a hillside just outside of Évora in a cork grove, surrounded by one of the biggest stone circles in Europe. It's actually older, much older than Stonehenge, and like Stonehenge, no one really knows why it's here, or who built it, or how they built it. The stones, these magnificent standing stones, there's about 90 of them, don't come from around here. Someone brought them here and planted them on this hillside 7,000 years ago.
Wow, absolutely gorgeous. After our megalithic morning, we're back in the car and heading east in search of Europe's biggest man-made lake, Lake Alqueva, as Olga mentioned, the size of Sussex. And the best way to explore it is by boat, which you can hire from Almera Marina.
So here we are out on the lake. I was a bit hesitant about coming out actually because there's so many things to do here, but we've only got 3 days to do it in. But it was a good call. It's absolutely beautiful. There's no one here. That's the extraordinary thing. And this lake is, 90 kilometers long, and I think it's about 1,200 kilometers around the edge. So it's quite enormous for a man-made lake. And there's one boat right up there in the distance, about half a mile away, and that's the only person we've seen all day. So I'm really glad we came. The boat's a bit like a sort of floating caravan. I'm not much of a caravanner myself, nor am I much of a mariner, but it is extremely comfortable. There's 2 cabins up the front, both with their own bathroom, and then in the saloon there's a table that converts into a double bed, so you can sleep 6 pretty comfortably. And you could spend a week here just touring up and down. I think that's not what I want to do. I think it's much too much, but for a day or two, a couple of nights, absolutely fantastic.
From Lake Alqueva, it's back to Évora, where we'll be spending the night in a fascinating converted monastery, which is now a luxury hotel, the Convento do Espinheiro.
This hotel now was during 550 years, a monastery and a royal residence. The kings of Portugal, when they stayed in Évora, they stayed here, and we still have the same suites where they used to stay. Also, the noble families of the most important period of Portugal, many of them decided to be buried in our church, which makes one of the very important churches to be visited. We have also fantastic architecture, a beautiful gourmet restaurant in the old wine cellar of the monastery. In the kitchen we made the bar, and in the system we made wine tasting and our new wine cellar, where we have our wine collection, and every day we invite our guests for a wine tasting.
That's great.
So here we are, the final day, and we still have a lot to see. We're heading west now.
I think we're lost again.
Well, at least I think we are, to the Alentejo coast and the promise of breathtaking cliffs and sandy beaches. But along the way, our route takes us through the heart of Alentejo's wine-growing region, and a chance for Peter to continue his wine-tasting mission. And then as we get up into the hills, we're on the lookout for spring flowers. And boy, do we find them. We round a corner to be met with a sight which is simply staggering.
I don't think I've ever seen spring flowers quite like this anywhere in the world. I mean, there's just so many. The whole meadow is just covered in daisies and dandelions and lavender, and about 100 different plants that I've no idea what they are, but together they form this spectacular carpet.
And from here it's a hop, skip and a jump to the coast. There really is very little development here, and as a result, it's totally unspoiled. This is where Alentejo meets the Atlantic Ocean. A rugged landscape, yet at the same time peaceful and calming and beautiful.
Well, once again, there's just no one here. We're on Cap Sardau, and there's a lighthouse over there, and presumably there's a lighthouse keeper in there. And then there's a stork over there, our only other companion.
And a mile up the coast, the pristine beaches which we'd been promised. Clean, sandy, and in contrast to the Algarve, virtually empty. A fitting end to a rewarding 3-day adventure of discovery. We'd set out to find the real Portugal. Well, mission accomplished.
So Peter, we've made it to the beach and it is absolutely fantastic here.
It's extraordinary. There is, again, no one here. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's about 75 degrees.
Fantastic. We certainly packed a lot into 3 days. What were your highlights?
Well, for me, above all, it was the city of Évora. Évora is a walled 16th century city with just an enormous amount to see and do. I loved it.
Yeah, for me, I think those megalithic stones, getting up at 6:30 in the morning, and I enjoyed going on the lake as well. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was good.
You know, for me, I love coming to places that are off the beaten track, where there aren't too many people around, that are unspoiled, and I really genuinely feel that we have found that.
Yeah, it's a big surprise to me.
And we did get to see the spring flowers as well, which for me was a huge bonus. I loved that.
Yeah, I have to say I've never seen anything quite like that. It's just mile upon mile upon mile, a carpet of incredible colours.
Okay, so the key question, would you come back?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, me too. And I like this time of year. I like the springtime. The flowers are out. It's not too hot. It's about 75 degrees here. For me, very comfortable.
Yes, I'd definitely come back, and I'd come back in the springtime or in the autumn. I think that must be great as well. I mean, it's an all-year-round destination. A lot of people come here in December, New Year.
All in all, I think at the end of our 3 days, it has to be a big thumbs up for the Alentejo.
I agree.